Even the regulars glanced
applause.
over their shoulders, some of them whispering among themselves. Jada's heart raced. She had seen Elon countless times on TV, in interviews, and on social media, but now here he was, looking a bit tired, yet still carrying that air of confidence. He took a seat at a small booth near the window, looking outside, deep in thought. Gathering her composure, Jada took a deep breath and approached his table. She put on her warmest smile and asked, "Hi there, what can I get for you tonight?" "Just a coffee, please," he said. "Black, and maybe a slice of whatever pie you have." "Coming right up," Jada said, trying to sound casual. She moved back to the counter, feeling the eyes of the other customers on her. Some of the regulars were already muttering, a few of them looking somewhat irritated, though Jada didn't quite understand why. Pouring his coffee and plating a slice of apple pie, she reminded herself that he was just a customer. She wanted to give him the same friendly service she gave anyone else, even if he was, well, Elon Musk. Returning to his table, she set down his order. "Thank you," he said, taking a sip and glancing out the window again. He seemed preoccupied, perhaps thinking over something from his earlier meeting. Jada back behind the counter, keeping herself busy while casting the occasional glance at Elon. She felt a mix of curiosity and admiration. He was an ambitious figure.
This is a reality story. So guys, it's just like you imagine you see Elon Musk for the first time. How will you react? And you see your favorite rock star, movie actors and actresses you so much cherish, or someone like Beyonce for the first time, you see him one-on-one, an order of your musician. The question is that how will you react? This is reality. So please pay attention to the story.
Eventually, one of the older men, a regular named Frank, known for his unfiltered opinions, stood up and walked over to Elon's table. Jada watched nervously, unsure of what he was about to say. "Excuse me," Frank said, his voice gruff but loud enough to catch everyone's attention. "Aren't you the guy who used to support OpenAI? Helped set it up, didn't you?" Elon looked up, pausing mid-sip. "Yes, I was involved in the early days," he replied calmly. Frank crossed his arms, a skeptical look crossing his face. "So why'd you sue them? And now, from what I hear, you're making your own AI thing, just like them. Isn't that a bit contradictory?" Elon sighed, setting his coffee cup down. "I have concerns about the direction OpenAI is heading. I believe AI should be aligned with truth and not biased by hidden motives. That's why I started XAI. I wanted to build something transparent, something more focused on facts." "Sure," Frank scoffed. "You're just looking at own AI? More money, more power, isn't that it?"
So guys, you heard what the elderly man Frank said to Elon Musk. He said, "Elon Musk, you sue the guy that started AI first. So now you are the one implementing that same idea of AI. Guys, you should know that AI did not start today. So what do you think? Drop your comment. That means Elon Musk, and now he is the one that is also implementing that idea. So drop your thoughts in the comment.
But something about hearing it in this small, intimate space seemed to hit differently. "Actually, no, it's not about power or profit," Musk replied, his tone measured. "It's about accountability. AI is one of the most powerful tools we have. I don't want to look back and see that I didn't do everything I could to keep it in check." Jada watched the exchange, feeling a pang of unease. She'd been thrilled to serve someone as famous as Elon, and yet the others seemed almost hostile. Whispers spread, a few people shaking their heads. Some of them clearly didn't believe him, seeing his actions as self-serving. Jada's heart felt heavy as she stood behind the counter, listening to people criticize Elon Musk with increasing hostility. The way they looked at him, the accusations they threw, it didn't sit right with her. She'd seen Elon as a symbol of progress, someone who didn't just talk about change, but actively worked to make it happen. And yes, he was controversial, but what visionary wasn't? Finally, she couldn't hold back anymore. She walked over to Frank's table, clearing her throat as she spoke up, her voice steady, but her nerves running wild. "Look, I know not everyone agrees with what he's doing, but you can't just dismiss him as selfish," Jada said, glancing around at the regulars who were now watching her intently. "This is a guy who's not only invested in space and tech, but also has a foundation that supports hospitals and sick kids. I've read about it, and when it comes to AI, well, technology moves forward whether we like it or not. The fact that he's trying to make something safer, more transparent, that's worth something, don't you think?" Her words seemed to catch Elon's attention. He looked at her, a glimmer of surprise and perhaps even appreciation in his eyes. She realized he hadn't expected anyone to stand up for him, especially not a waitress in a small, unassuming cafe like this. Jada continued, gaining momentum. "Just because he's trying to improve on something that already exists doesn't mean he's only in it for the money. I mean, isn't that what innovation is about? Finding ways to make things better?" The room went silent for a moment. Some people seemed taken aback, while others still wore skeptical expressions. Jada had known these folks for years, served them their coffee and pie, laughed at their jokes, and listened to their stories. But tonight, it felt like she was suddenly an outsider. Then her boss,
So hi guys, you guys really listen to the story, what happened, how the waitress have to defend Elon Musk when they were Mr. Frank and others was criticizing Elon Musk. The waitress stepped in to defend and speak for Elon Musk. But there is something amazing that happened. But if you want me to continue with the part 2 of the story, if you really enjoy this reality story, please say yes, continue with part 2. So guys, drop your comments if you enjoy this reality story about Elon Musk, Mr. Frank querying Elon Musk. Please subscribe if you have not, but please drop your comments if you really want me to continue with the reality story. What happened when the boss of the cafe walked in, seeing the waitress defending Elon Musk? So please, if you enjoy it, please drop your comments as we continue.